This is the PM hour, y'all. We're gonna get into another topic that that's been out there, and it's an important one. So let's get into it. My name is Patrick.
I'm Tasha.
I'm Terry.
Oh yeah, peace and blessings. It's your boy Garrett.
Hey, and today I'm going to introduce you about this topic. It's about Quawan Charles. He's over there out of Louisiana. And it's a sad one, you guys. He was pronounced dead, and his parents didn't find out until days later. They discovered that allegedly he was drowned. He did not get permission to leave with his friends, and supposedly that the friends, not to sound racist, but I am, they were white, and they took him against the parents' will, and guess what? When the parents found out days later, he was dead, found drowned in a sugar cane, what do you call those little bayou, little kind of stuff like that down south. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not from down south. And you know what? They said he drowned. But my whole thing is, how can you drown at an ankle length little sewer, not sewer, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Type.
Yes, one of them type of little things. But when they come to notice and state that he was deceased, the family stated that this boy's face was dismantled. And he had knots. His whole face did not look like their loved one. Now, I would like to get you guys say of how you feel about this situation, because my whole thing is, when you see this young man or how he looked, it will bring you back to the man from about 40 years
Emmett
ago.
Till.
Ridiculous.
Emmett Till is reminding a lot of people right now
Yes.
who's been knowing about this case of Quawan Charles, that it reminds you back of Emmett Till. And for people who aren't even familiar with it, it just still resonates.
Yes, you
with
can
that
look him
whole
up.
thing.
Yeah.
You can look him up, and I'm pretty sure when you look Emmett Till up,
Yeah.
this young man face is gonna pop up, because
It's mangled, defaced, and
they're
just
all
dehumanized.
It's
just
a
stomped,
lynching.
putting them
you know?
together right
It's a
now
lynching.
today.
And so,
It's a lynching.
Okay, so yeah, you said it's a lynching, but to me, I guess, because I'm always the one that's like focused on everything is systematic, right? Or it gotta be somehow to the system. My thing is, right?
Yes.
He's 15, he's black, and I think the mom was like, oh, he left with his friends.
With his friend and the friend's
this
mom.
neighborhood that they live, well, I don't know about the neighborhood, but his friends are like majority white, majority
Yes.
Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
And the friend he left with, the mom assumed was white. Now,
Yes.
he left with the friend, never came back, right? And
Without
then she
permission,
found-
the mother and father's permission.
but I'm thinking, how off, like, you're 15 and you hanging out with like your friends. I mean, you may not necessarily get permission, but you'd be like, oh, mom, I'll be right back. I'm about to so-and-so, whatever. Like, you're just going out. Yeah, it's like one of those type
Yeah,
of situations.
I believe it's one of those situations.
But understand,
to
but
hang out with
let's
his
put it clear in
friends,
context. The mom was
you know.
he was staying with his dad. It was just him and the dad. The dad thought he was in his room just chilling and playing video games. It wasn't. The mom called the dad, was like, okay, where's the son and everything? She wasn't at the home at the time. It was the dad there. The dad was like, he's in his room, and it was locked. The room was locked, and he knocked on it like to see if check it was all right. It's like, okay, he probably playing video games or asleep. Let me leave him alone. Okay, they left it alone. The mom called back later. I want to talk to him. What's going on? And he's like, okay, let me go check on him. And knocked on the door. The dad eventually had to break down the door and find out he was not in the room at all. Window open, sneaked out and stuff like that. So it was really, he was in the house with his dad.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
read that further. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No study was there. The mom wasn't there. She was checking in on her son, being there with dad and what's going on and whatever.
And
because
that's probably just regular checking.
yeah.
Because
And well,
if
it was
you-
not check. It was a gift that you were supposed to get, something about a PS5. All these kids right now want their PlayStation 5, and the thing was, Quawan, he was supposed to check up with his mom and stuff like that. Because if you want the gift, why are you not on it? Why are you not checking it? It was a gift, the PS5 that he was supposed to get. But then she's checking like, okay, why is he not on it? And he been hollering at me to get this gift for this long.
Well, but I'm saying after, but like, don't moms normally she would be like checking.
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So she had like some type of intuition to like check on him.
Yes, she did.
Right?
She did.
Probably felt something, that mother
something.
intuition spirit.
Yeah, outside of this thing that they had to
Yes.
deal with this whole gift thing. Yeah, she was like, okay, what's going on? Because she called back again to the dad and everything. Like, okay, what's going on? The dad was like, he probably just chilling in his room, whatever. Because it was a first check from the dad to the room. And then he went back again and it was like, okay, something's odd. And the door is locked. I can't get into him. And they had to break down the door to get into the room and see what's going on. And
so he
not
snuck
in the
out.
room.
He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Right?
He wasn't there.
But see, in situations like that, aren't they leaving with somebody that's trusted? Like,
Now, that's the thing.
You don't do something like that.
And that's the thing.
If you're not leaving with somebody that you kind of like know.
Yeah, so he trusts
here's
this
the
person.
thing. Well, here's the thing. From what I've read and seeing it, this white mother and family, they don't really know the family like that. Quawan knew I guess the boy, the other white boy, but not the parents and stuff like that. But for me, my thing is,
he probably was never thinking like parents are involved. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like kids are at school.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily know the parent, but you know the kid. I'm saying for other kids.
Yeah, true.
For adults, you're going like, I see you, but where's your parent?
True.
But for kids, they, especially at 15,
Yeah, and
you
kids,
really don't need
they-
the parents involved at that point.
they only think immediately.
So,
They won't think about, let me just go over and get my friend
So
and do
he
whatever I want to
probably
do right
thought that he
now.
was going with like a friend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Where did the mom?
But
like,
this
okay.
is where I'm at with the mom. You know what I'm at? You know, I'm not gonna take somebody's kid and their parents don't know that they're with me. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you coming and hopping. You're not just gonna hop in my car and go with your little buddy. No.
Right.
Is your daddy or mama home?
No parent
Well, then
does
sit in the
that.
car. I'm gonna
No
tell them
parent.
your boy's
No
coming with me.
parent.
Is it
Yes.
cool?
We don't do
Is
that.
it cool?
And that's negligent
Yeah.
on the mother's fault.
Because you
Very
have to assume
negligent.
reasonably if something happened to this child and they're in my custody,
negligent
that I would have
or-
to. If
no,
this
negligent. First of all, he snuck out, but negligent
On her behalf for
On
not
her behalf.
notifying the
Well,
parent that,
absolutely
okay, I have
negligent.
your
You're
son.
insinuating that mom that accepted the kid that she didn't speak to the parent, they
Yes.
already, I mean, I'm assuming they already had nefarious thoughts, right?
Perhaps, but-
why
Yes.
would you accept a kid that you didn't talk
But
to the
exactly,
parent
yeah.
and you didn't
But
say?
keeping it
So she
basic.
already was
But
thinking
keeping it
something.
basic. You're negligent and said that. Maybe they didn't have the nefarious thoughts. You're absolutely right. But I'm saying aside that, if you were just thinking basically, like reasonably, you know,
Yes.
if this kid is in your custody, you would think that if I'm watching somebody's kid, it could be even a relative. If I'm
Okay.
watching a kid, if something happens to this kid while in my custody, blame will go on me. So I have to let them know. And it's worse when that parent don't know that they're with me. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
different,
I'm just
yeah.
keeping it basic.
Yeah, well, if we want to go down that road, then
Wouldn't that make you-
possibly maybe that they felt like, oh, they made that mistake, and that's why they're covering up whatever happened in this situation.
Well, yeah, if that's what it was, but I'm saying you're not getting a pass for dropping the ball on something
No,
that's
you're
basic.
not. You're
No.
not. You're not.
I'm going
Of
to
course
take.
not.
I'm not
Of
taking
course
nobody's kid.
not.
Only
Of
way I might
course
end up
not.
is just a relative because they know I'm with Uncle Patrick or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. No. Somebody
Right.
who's not related to the family just hop out the window and hop in my car, and then you my little child's buddy. No. I'm not just going. You hop in my car. Your mama home, your daddy home.
Yeah.
Well, then sit in the car. I'm about to go knock on the door and tell him, is it okay? Is he coming with me?
Yeah.
That would a reasonable person would
Yeah.
do that, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Of
a
course.
reasonable person. But I would say that's why this case really needs more investigating,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
There you go.
they snatch up a lot of kids like that.
Yeah.
I could see if you were
Since the
talking.
80s.
Well, I could see if you were talking about like maybe like a 7-year-old.
Remember when them 30 kids
or like
went
an
missing,
8-year-old?
28 kids went missing down
Right.
in Georgia,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But 15
wait,
is
what
too-
I'm saying,
not-
can I just?
Yeah,
well,
go
I just
ahead.
want to finish my one point where I was trying to, just a small point where I'm saying I could see what you're saying. If it was like a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, you really do got to talk to the parent. But a lot of times when you're dealing with a teenager, especially a 15-year-old, a lot of times you might not be having a lot of conversations with the parent. You do. If you're a responsible parent, you're still going to continue that parenting up until 18. So your child might be 17 and you're like, you're not going anywhere until I know where you're going and who you're going with and who that parent is, right?
Yeah.
But some parents, I guess, and also too, 15-year-olds feel like they're adults.
Yeah.
So sometimes you could be having a whole other life. We've seen movies like that, right? With young Euphoria, all these teenage stuff. We've seen movies where teenagers have their whole life going on.
They get on their bike and leave the house and go down the street.
There is. And,
Right.
and parents may not necessarily, you said the dad thought he was in the house.
Yeah.
What can you do beyond that? You know, you can keep on checking, But you see what I'm saying? It's like they're manipulative. I guess that's at the end of the day why I'm saying they're manipulative.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of understand him leaving with a friend, somebody he thought was a friend, or somebody you made a connection with, whatever the situation is, and something going wrong from that.
Yeah,
right?
and you had to sneak out. You jumped out the window. You had to sneak out. So you already know you were doing something bad. But that's how teenagers. You're right. That's how teenagers do.
That's all I'm trying. This is a small point.
Yeah.
You
it all
can't
applies.
necessarily blame the parents. Like, this is just a part
The
of
child ended up dead because those are the circumstances.
Exactly.
It was in your custody.
To me, okay, your custody, but why isn't there like an investigation still going on?
Well, now we're talking to the larger system and police enforcement now.
That's what I'm saying.
Then that's a whole.
It's still going on. It's going to take about 12 weeks.
That's a whole nother ball game right now. That we're talking
It's going
about.
to take about 12 weeks.
We're talking about the system
now. The water was ankle length and not enough for him to drown, because they're stating it was drowning, which it was ankle length. So how can you drown and you're 15 years old? So
already you have this battle between what they reported and public opinion. They're telling us something that doesn't seem apparent in our eyes. You drown.
Right.
But it was looking at the how the body looked, that don't look like no drowning to a reasonable thinking person. No. So something is a foul.
Why is your face mangled?
Yeah, that doesn't look right. So then now you have a battle between the system, especially in Florida, and what's going on there, and what the public perception is seeing.
Right. You said Florida, but it was in Louisiana.
It was Louisiana. Sorry, Louisiana. Yeah. So. Come on, like, the ball is being dropped already. You said they dropped the ball on this case, and then that causes the anger in the public already, because you see the ball being dropped. The first his kid, his parents, and then they're not protecting the kid and his rights and everything. The investigation.
How did that white family got involved in? Like, how are they named? Like, in the
because an eyewitness said they saw that was the person they saw, last person they saw Quawan with, but they didn't deny it. The mother wasn't denied that. I think she did say that. Oh yeah, he was with us, but after what they didn't know. So you don't know. She's not giving up. So the mother admitted that Quawan did end up in the car with her.
White lady.
Yes, the mother with her son and Quawan was in the car. She confirmed that did happen in the car. But beyond that,
they did, and then she dropped them wherever she dropped them, and no.
We don't know if they dropped him. We don't know after he got in the car. Don't know. She's being vague on. Beyond that, don't know if they went back to her house and they was chilling there, or she dropped them somewhere, because of different reports. Dropped them somewhere or whatever. Beyond him getting in the car and they driving off, now that's where the story gets hazy.
And me being a mother, I'll be at her door.
And she's not helping. The white mother's not helping. What happened? And she's playing, I don't know what she did.
Her son did it.
Yeah.
Can we not still just keep the idea on what's still happening to our black youth? I kind of just bring a point here.
Lives being taken.
It's just kind of one of those things that I just kind of, it's just kind of one of those things that, and when we just look at, we get into our points, we look at the different levels and what happened, and, it's not to talk about just, Quawan is just like a part of just like a bigger a bigger sense of something. You know what I mean? The bigger idea,
sense of our black lives still being taken. It doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? Of the idea. And it's not to say that we must always say their names, and we must always make sure that we do acknowledge of the life that is lost when these things happen.
Martin, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, down the list. Breonna Taylor, don't forget Breonna Taylor.
But we just cannot forget about what is really going on here, and how we should not understand that there should be something definitely in our communities that help for protection wise.
Yes,
there's definitely that we see how much relevant it is now, and what was going on in this kind of in this day and age. We just talked about a story the other couple of days where you don't even really want to bring your wife or your kids to a white doctor or a non-black doctor, because you don't even know if they're going to take care of you properly like they would if anyone else. So again, should we not look at the main points here? Shall we not look at what's really going on here?
Right.
Just the kind of idea.
You're right for highlighting.
Just want to add, just a little point that we could just stick to here, because I don't want to just diminish the fact that Quawan is just another name. And just another pool, and it's just another name inside of a bigger pool. But the idea is, we should acknowledge what's going on. Shall we just not forget? Shall we not just what's going on? Hold on. Another little aspect.
You're right, brother.
What about the slavery still going on in Africa? You know what I'm saying? I mean, in Sudan and how they're still out there slaving people. But the point, you know what I'm saying? Again, of what's going on with our youth.
Yeah. This brings up a lot
in our future, man.
Because
what's going on with our future?
You can think about it, a lot of people are making the parallel between this and Emmett Till, but then you have Tamir Rice and everything like that. You know, say young ones, where more than teens and adult-grown black men. That's true. But then when you have young ones that are 15, 7, 12, and all those when it gets into those ranges and stuff like that, we all feel responsible. We all feel responsible that this young and we can't protect our youth. You know, boys and girls.
Absolutely.
You know, that this young they didn't even have a life lived yet. Really, you know? And what is it? We can protect them from a system, a failed system that we have see possibly the backdrop of this in the back of people's mind that racism has something to do with it. You know, we're waiting for that trigger to see that, oh, it was a racist and something racist. They stomped this little boy out because they didn't want to kill some little boy. You know, if we hear anything like that, it's going to cause an even more explosion.
Well, I mean, I think also, too, that is very dramatic, and sometimes racism is not even so dramatic as that. Sometimes it could be as something simple as, like, you know, not saying it's racism, but maybe you know, the son, because he's 15, went to hang out with the son. Maybe that mom is not so stable, and they're hanging out with them. Something happened, and then instead of reacting appropriately, the situation just went haywire. And sometimes we see racism even through the simplest things, right? Because when you say it's racism, a lot of times we come across individuals that may not necessarily be racist, but the fact that they benefit off of a system that's built for them, then that makes them, I don't know if that makes them racism, but it definitely makes them a beneficiary, right? That's like one of those people, you can't be mad that their family left them all this money. They may be dumb, but they're spending like shit. But it's like, oh, you know.
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
That's just what it is. Like, you can't fault them for that. That's the situation.
It's privilege then. You know what I'm saying? So like, okay,
That's exactly what I'm saying. Privilege. You can't fault them. You can definitely call them on racist stuff, and that's the point that we're saying. You can call them. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times we get distracted by the individual because we try to separate the individual from the system. Okay, you can do that if you want, but that doesn't make the system less powerful. And that's why we always have to focus on the system. Because these people, okay, he left, he did this, he's a teenager, he's 15. So you're essentially like, a lot of times when you're 15, you think you're an adult. So you make your adult decision. The fact that he snuck out, this is just what you have to do because you're trapped. You're not 18 yet, so you're trapped in this situation. So you do have to make these type of rash decision where you have to sneak out. So you sneak out and you're doing that, but it's like, what happened now when you're out here, right? We know all his friends were Caucasian because he lived in a certain neighborhood, whatever. But what did they do? And also, too, whatever they did, how did they react after that? And how did the system and the privilege of white supremacists apply to them and disenfranchise you?
Well, that's where we're at disadvantage because we don't know. The word is, the news is still coming out, so we don't know. And just in the back of people's mind, we do fear the worst. When people don't know exactly what is what, then we fear the worst and we think all these different things. So that's definitely true, and we don't know. We want to, hopefully, we come later and for everybody's benefit, like, okay, maybe it was an accident, maybe it was something and these parents didn't do nothing, and maybe it was an accident on Quawan's part. We don't know.
No,
but
not Quawan's part. Maybe the friend.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. You know, we fear the worst, hope for the best. You know, that thing like that. The person died, but I'm not saying it's good that he's dead. But you get my point. You know, so. You know, so it's another one of those cases. You know, we lost so many lives, and you know there are a lot of children, black women, and you know, boys, all those things. So
the black family, you know,
this is gonna go on in these weeks, and this is relatively new. So the nation's gonna be going on about Quawan, and the PM-Hour want to be in front of this. This might not be depending on how it goes. We talk about it even more. Send us your comments and stuff, and follow us on social media, and let's get into it, people. The PM-Hour.